Here are the settings you need to know for the Modern Warfare 3 beta. First things first, we are going over to graphics. We'll go over controller settings and interface settings a little bit later. You want to be on full screen exclusive. If possible, mine is on borderless so that I can go back and forth between my OBS and my game. Make sure that the screen refresh rate matches your monitor as well as the display resolution. I have VSync off. My custom frame limit is set just a little bit higher than my monitor's refresh rate. I'm on 144, so I'm at 165. Being on a capped frame rate is better than unlimited, so I would stick with custom for now, and then you could always just bump that up to 300. Make sure you have your shaders done before you hop into a game. In terms of the brightness, I'm rocking at about 59, but that will be monitor dependent for you as well. Focus mode I have on off. NVIDIA low latency, if you have this on your PC. Have this on plus boost if your graphics card is better than your CPU, and just on if your CPU is better than your graphics card. I have HDR off, and then that's it for the display settings. I should mention that my settings are catered to my build. My PC was optimized by FPS Hub. I have a code with them. Code lunch and link in the description down below. If you want to optimize your PC and make sure your settings are exact for your build, I've had a great experience with them too, so shout out to FPS Hub. For the rest of my settings, make sure your render resolution is on 100 and quality. Dynamic resolution is off. Upscaling and sharpening, this is one of the most important ones. It should be on fidelity cast with the strength up to 100. This will make the game a lot clearer and easier to see your enemies. Anti-aliasing, we have this on SMAA T2X with the quality on low. VRAM scale target, I've messed around with this a little bit. I've landed with it at 70 for now. Variable rate shading is off. Texture resolution, we have very low. The texture filter is low. Depth of field off. Detail quality level high. Particle resolution low. Bullet impacts and persistent effects, we have this both on off. Shader quality is high. Another important one is the on-demand texture streaming. Make sure that this is off. This will make sure your game doesn't hitch or lag or go through packet burst or anything like that. Texture streaming quality, we have low. Shadow quality low. Screen space shadows is off. Ambient occlusion is off. The screen space reflections is off, and the reflection quality is low. Going down to environment, we have tessellation off. Nothing in terrain memory. Volumetric quality is low, deferred physics quality off, weather grid volumes off, and then the water quality is set to water caustics and wave wetness. Going over to view, this is a little bit of personal preference. If you're on controller, I would stay in the range of 100 to 105. I wouldn't push it further than 110. If you play on a keyboard and mouse, you don't have to worry about losing aim assist, so you can go and bump that up to 120, potentially lower depending on what your PC can handle. ADS field of view, we are going on effective. Weapon field of view is wide, and the vehicle field of view doesn't really matter. Make sure your motion blur for both world and weapon are off. Film grain is 0. First person camera movement is least. Spectator camera doesn't really matter. And then the inverted flashbang is personal preference as well. Before we go into the controller settings, we're going to go to interface. The settings here will make your game look a lot smoother and also more colorful. In that note, we're going to color customization. You can customize your HUD palette if you want. I bumped up the enemy saturation and brightness because it was kind of difficult to see opponents in the first weekend of the beta. Should be better by now. But you want to scroll down here to color filter and go to filter 2 in both. This is that tritanopia that we had used in Modern Warfare 2019. Makes the game look a little bit better. World color intensity, you can move this from like 80, maybe a little bit higher if you want more, but I like mine at 85. Going to the HUD bounds, this one is super important, especially now that we have red dots on the minimap. You want to make sure horizontal and vertical lines are as close to the center of the screen as possible. So if you're on mouse, you can click and drag these closer to the center and then apply. This makes it so that your minimap and all other interface options are closer to the center of the screen. So when you're looking for red dots on your minimap, your eyes don't have to look as far up. Minimap shape, we keep that on square with rotation on. I don't like the horizontal compass. If that's something y'all like, keep that on. I love this setting. Keep your crosshairs on static. It always makes me dizzy when I look at people's gameplay and they're moving around and their crosshairs are like a second before or a second behind the character actually moves. Keep that on static. Center dot on, you can adjust the scale depending on what you like. I like larger. For the rest of the settings, nothing should be crazy important here. Telemetry, if you like having your FPS counter up, go for it. I'm personally fine without. Parallax effects, have this on off, and I believe that's the last important setting in this menu right here. And for my audio settings, I have this on headphones with the speakers set to my output device. In terms of the master volume, I'm about 100 right now. Gameplay music is all the way down. Dialogue volume is low. Effects volume stays high, while voice chat and cinematic are on the lower end. The rest of my audio settings are here. None of them are crazy important aside for mono audio. Make sure to have this off. Reduce tinnitus sound, keep that on just to save your ears. And then my hit marker sound effects are Modern Warfare. Going over to controller settings. I play default flipped because I play claw, but you can adjust that here. You can also map different commands to have a custom layout, which I think is really cool for Modern Warfare 3. So check that out if that's something you're interested in. I flip L1, L2, and R1, R2 so that I can play claw. Controller vibration, I play with this off. Dead zone input, so there's a really cool feature that they added to Modern Warfare 3 in that you can test your input dead zone. So I'll hide my camera here. If you press go on that, you see as I move my left stick, I can actually have my hand cam here too. You see as I move my left stick, that is kind of where the dead zone is at. If I go all the way out, it kind of maxes out right here. I have my left stick max on 70, as you can see on your left. That means I reach maximum strafe speed a little bit faster. I recommend doing that, especially if you're an AR player and like having that rotational aim assist. 70 is a kind of a good fit for me. And now if we're talking the right stick, there's that tiny little red dot in the center because my right stick min is on 1. You can see there's a little bit of stick drift when I let go here. I'm not touching my controller, but it's moving a little bit. So I might end up bumping my right stick min up just a little bit, but that's kind of a good way to test it. I might actually do that now. Maybe go to 2. I'm okay with a little bit of stick drift, but these are my stick drift settings. Again, the most important ones are left stick max. Lower that down to about 70, 75, and the right stick min. Make sure you start at 0 and slowly bump that up until you don't have stick drift. Now for aiming, I play on 6.6. This is personal preference as well. Some people like it a little bit higher, some people like it lower. I don't mess with the ADS sensitivity multiplier or any of these multipliers like that. Tack stance, haven't messed with either. Aim response curve type, you want to make sure this is dynamic. Nobody's touched the slope yet. That might be something we see in the future as a beneficial aiming setting, but for now, just keep it on dynamic and keep this at 1. I don't mess with the custom sense per zoom. Target aim assist on, and then I have my aim assist type as Black Ops. A little bit less sticky in this game, which I think is fine, but I've enjoyed Black Ops aim assist, and I'll be sure to update if there's any changes on which one is best. Motion sensor behavior, make sure you have this on off. This is so that when you tilt your controller, it doesn't aim or move your aim when you're doing that. Going into the gameplay settings, an important setting is the single tap run. This makes it so that when you go into tack sprint, you only have to click your left stick down once. I don't really mess with automatic tack sprint. If that's something you want to try, you can try it here. Invert slide and dive. In Modern Warfare 2, we had it on inverted because diving was better than sliding. In this game, sliding is going to be better than diving, so keep it on standard. Make sure your grounded mantle is off, as well as automatic airborne and automatic ground mantle. This will stop you from mantling when you don't mean to, so keep all these 3 settings off. And the rest of my settings are here as follows if you'd like to copy them. And that will do it for my Modern Warfare 3 graphic settings. I hope you all enjoyed, have fun in the beta, and I'll catch you next time at lunchtime.